Hey, greetings. This is John Bowen with Bowen Arrow Winery. Let's take a little break from winemaking and go visit my tasting room and my wine cellar. So this is my tasting room. The tasting room I finished up about a year ago, and it's on this wall you can see up top what are wine barrel tops from Monarch Wine Company. And you can tell they're pretty big size, huh? That's actually the bung that they use for the top of the wine barrel. And later on we'll see the uprights from the wine barrels, which were 11 feet tall. I've got a decommissioned wine barrel that I use for a tabletop, which is pretty cool. Some college chairs, you see. Wine cellar is actually inside this room here. We'll visit there in a minute. I've got a display of my medal winning wines, 4 of them from Winemaker magazine. The jugs in there are actually 2 of them are from Baltimore, from R.W. Wright and Company, Reliable Wine and Liquor. That's dated 1901. And then another wine barrel from Baltimore. I've got display cases that were made by Chris Crow Cabinetry here in Alpharetta. More about them in a minute. Got some wine corks, bottle corks, and one of them, in fact, is Bowen Arrow Winery, which is my label. We have a little corks. But let's go into the wine cellar. A little light will help. I've been making wine for 9 years now. Here are a couple bottles. My first wine that I made from kits back in 2009. Oh yeah, this is important. No minors allowed. But this wine cellar, I finished up 2 or 3 years ago. It holds 1,379 bottles, and each one has its own special spot. We don't put them in bins or anything. The wine racks are made from solid black walnut, heartwood. They're 14 inches deep, and the base cabinets are actually 25 inches deep. That allows me to put, 2 double deep bottles. I've got a countertop, which is useful for storing wine and carboys. I've actually gone into the wine cellar design and construction business with Chris Crow Cabinetry, making these wine racks for me in the same design that I perfected. Love the lighting for display bottles. I've got Picciola, actual artwork from Monarch Wine Company. Was started in 1936 after Prohibition, and operated in Atlanta till the late 90s. And I've actually got, this countertop was constructed by a mill shop out of the uprights from their wine barrels. And up top there, you actually see, those were the bottom of the barrels. Now these wine barrels, I talked to an old ex-employee, an older employee who's long retired from Monarch, and she said they hadn't used these wine barrels in at least 50 years. So this wood is really old wood. This is an article that I published in Winemaker magazine. I mentioned Monarch. I've got their catalog, every wine they ever made, or most every wine. There are hundreds of them. They kept a label in their card catalog, so that's pretty interesting. A little historical touch there. I've got on this back wall, I've got wines from Napa Valley, wineries that I've visited and met with winemakers there. On this wall, I've got 10 bottles of about every wine I've ever made. Actually, I've made a couple, 3 more since then. I need to figure out where to put it. And then, you know, I've got supplies in that cabinet down there. And I make wines for blending purposes. And that's what you see there. I've also got a Breeze Air split system there. This is what you see here is the fan and condenser. The compressor is actually outside. Temperature reading right in here now, 52 degrees. I don't have to, it's winter time, I don't have to turn it on, but that's how I keep my wine cellar cold in the summer with that split system. The temperature in the summertime, I keep the wine here at around 58 degrees. So we'll talk to you later. This is John Bowen with Bowen Arrow Winery.